The servants first noticed something was wrong when Emperor Lucius stopped speaking to people. Not completely. He still attended meetings, still signed laws, still nodded while generals spoke about wars on distant borders, but his eyes looked empty, as if his mind lived somewhere far beyond the marble walls of Rome. Because every night, after the palace fell silent, the emperor disappeared into a locked chamber beneath the Palpatine Hill. And inside that chamber stood a statue he believed was alive. Tonight, we descend into one of the strangest stories whispered through ancient Rome, the story of the emperor who married stone itself. The year is 138 AD. Rome stands at the height of its power. Markets overflow with silk, gold, and spices from across the world. Massive temples tower above crowded streets, and ruling over it all is Emperor Lucius Cassian. At first, Rome loved him. He was calm, educated, and unusually kind for a Roman ruler. He lowered taxes, funded libraries, and preferred philosophy over violence. But behind his peaceful face lived a grief no physician could heal. 5 years earlier, his wife, Helena, had died during childbirth along with their unborn son. Witnesses claimed Lucius never recovered from that night. At first, his mourning seemed normal. He wore black robes for months and cancelled celebrations across the empire. But slowly his grief became something darker. He stopped sleeping. Servants heard him wandering palace corridors at night, whispering to empty rooms. Then came the statue. Lucius ordered the finest sculptor in Rome to carve Helena from pure white marble. When it was unveiled, senators reportedly fell still. It looked horrifyingly real. The softness of her face, the curls of her hair, even the sadness in her eyes seemed alive. For the first time in years, the emperor smiled. At first, the statue stood in the palace gardens among fountains and roses, but Lucius soon became obsessed with it. Fresh flowers appeared beside it every morning. Jewelry from Helena's old chambers was placed around the statue's neck. Candles burned around it through the night. Then one day the emperor moved the statue into his private bedroom. Rumors spread across Rome. Some whispered that grief had shattered the emperor's mind. Others claimed Eastern priests had convinced him Helena's spirit lived inside the marble. No one dared question him, because Lucius was changing. His eyes grew darker, his temper unpredictable. He stopped attending Senate meetings entirely, choosing instead to spend hours alone speaking to the statue behind locked doors. Servants listening outside claimed they heard conversations, soft laughter, even arguments, as though the emperor truly believed Helena answered him. Then came the announcement that horrified Rome. The emperor would remarry. At first, senators celebrated, hoping a new wife might restore stability to the palace. But the celebration ended when the truth emerged. Lucius intended to marry the statue itself. The ceremony took place during winter beneath gray skies heavy with rain. Thousands gathered outside the palace while priests prepared the imperial hall. At the center stood the marble statue dressed in real silks and gold jewelry. Perfume had been rubbed into the stone until the room smelled of roses and myrrh. When Lucius entered in ceremonial robes, witnesses claimed he looked peaceful for the first time in years. He walked slowly toward the statue. Then he took its cold marble hand into his own. The priests hesitated. Some later admitted they feared the gods themselves would punish Rome for allowing such madness. But no one dared refuse the emperor. The wedding proceeded like any other Roman marriage. Sacred prayers were spoken, offerings burned before the altar, marriage vows echoed through the chamber, and all while the bride remained silent and motionless beneath flickering torchlight. Yet to Lucius, she was alive. After the ceremony, his madness deepened completely. Servants were forced to prepare meals for the statue during banquets. Musicians played softly while the emperor danced alone through candlelit halls, holding the marble figure in his arms. But stone is heavy and cold. More than once, servants heard crashes echo through the palace as Lucius struggled to carry the statue from room to room. Each time he screamed at anyone who tried to help him. "This is my wife," he shouted. "Do not touch her." Then one stormy night, a servant entered the emperor's chamber after hearing terrible screams. The statue had fallen, its marble face shattered against the floor, one arm broken away completely, and kneeling beside the ruins was Emperor Lucius, sobbing uncontrollably while clutching the broken marble head against his chest. Witnesses claimed he begged Helena not to leave him again, but this time the statue could not even pretend to answer. Something inside the emperor broke forever that night. He stopped eating, stopped bathing, rarely spoke at all. Weeks later, servants found him dead beside the shattered statue with one cold marble hand pressed against his chest. Rome later erased much of his story because empires hate weakness, especially madness. But somewhere beneath the glory of ancient Rome lies the memory of a lonely man who loved someone so deeply that reality itself became unbearable without her. And perhaps that is the most terrifying part of grief. If left alone in darkness long enough, the human mind may choose illusion over pain. Subscribe for more historical stories and forgotten tragedies hidden beneath the shadows of history.